Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome back to the action here in the 2006 World Pool Championships. Well, a race to 8, alternate breaks. Now, referee in charge of the action is Sesh Marquez of the Philippines. It's time now to meet the players. Would you please welcome the captain of the winning Mosconi Cup team from the USA. It's the Scorpion, Johnny Archer. Ladies and gentlemen, from China, it's Meng.
So, it's Johnny Archer who is safely through already in this group match, Group 8. Meng of China, and I'm joined by one of Johnny's teammates, Jeremy Jones. Good evening, Jeremy. Nice of you to join us.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. Well, you're safely through. Johnny's safely through. When you're in a match like this, and you had a match that didn't mean a whole lot earlier today, do you go in and try and keep some momentum going, or do you just sort of experiment a little bit, or what do you do?
Well, you can do a number of things with this match. I mean, first of all, you want to win it, because the higher the seed you are, the better chance you have of drawing a lesser player, which they're all great players. But today in my match, I actually just wanted to get my concentration. It was a funny match. Not a whole lot went right. But Johnny's going to go in there today. This is his first time on the TV table. So he's going to try and figure out the TV table, because you know to win the tournament, you're going to have to play a lot of matches on it.
That's absolutely right. And as you say, this is Johnny's first appearance. And now, Johnny's not the tallest guy in the world, it has to be said. He's one of the few players that I can look down on. But he's got a big height advantage on his opponent from China. He's also won the lag. And if he wins here, he's going to win Group 8 as well. He's already safely through, as we can see. The other battle is the interesting one, Gregorio Sanchez of Venezuela up against Huang of Chinese Taipei. They're in a winner-take-all shootout somewhere here today.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those today. I think Alex Pagaline just got through on the table 2 against Lee, correct?
I think Pagaline actually went out.
Oh, Pagaline got beat? Oh, we walked over. He was up 7-6.
Yeah,
and we were walking over for Johnny's match, and the way the crowd was dispersing from the table, we thought that Pagaline had got the match. Wow.
Yes, there's been a few big names in trouble here today. This man here isn't going to be one of them. A race to 8 as usual.
Johnny's broke the balls about perfect there, containing the cue ball in the middle of the table, and ended up with a really nice shot on the 2. He's got a pretty natural angle to get from the 2 to the 3, but the 4 is a problem, Nick.
And the 5 hanging invitingly over that bottom right-hand pocket as well, as you can see. But yeah, as you point out, Jeremy, that 4-7 meld is the problem.
Yeah, I don't think the combination is on for the side pocket. It doesn't look like it. Not sure if he's going to play the 3-5 combination. If the 3 passes the 6 in the side, I assume he would come one rail down and play the 3 in the side. Hopefully getting past it, that would give him an angle to possibly break open the 4 and 7. He's gotten pretty good here. He's looking at the combination now. Which, if the combination is on, that's definitely the shot.
Very deliberate and precise man, Johnny Archer.
Yeah, Johnny, he used to play a little quicker in his younger days, but he'll be 38 actually on November 12th, the day of the finals here at the World Pool Championship. So he's slowed down a little bit as he's gotten a little older.
Wouldn't that be a nice birthday present if he gets the final of this thing?
Yeah, he's my roommate this week, so we're looking to try and take it all back to the Philippine Plaza, room 905s.
That'll be a party, if it happens, for either of you. Now, this is the shot of the rack. If he can nail this one, the rest of it should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah, he's going to hit this in fairly soft, leaving the 4 for the other side pocket.
Can't play it any better.
And Johnny was a little fortunate in his first 2 matches. His first match he was down 4-1 to Sanchez, ended up winning 8-7, and then or 5-1 rather, and then down 4-0 to Wayne. In his next match, ended up winning 8-6. So he could be in a little tighter spot on day 4 here, but after coming back on both matches, we know he's going to get through to the final 64.
So we also know from what you've just told us there, Jeremy, that you never write it off against Johnny Archer. If you've got a big lead on him, you don't sit back and rest on it. You've got to put your foot on the throttle against this fella all the way, otherwise he'll come back and get you.
That's right. You got to know Johnny's not giving up, so you better not slow down at all. Keep making every ball you can, which is with most of the players here. You know, there's a few guys here and there that especially in the alternate break format, they feel like when they get down 4 or 5 to 1 that, you know, it's curtains. But most of the American players, they've played a lot of 9-ball over the years, and they've made a lot of incredible comebacks. So they know it can be done. Well, Johnny looks really comfortable here.
Yes, made all his shots so far.
And he said all of them real clean. Nice stroke. See a lot of guys rubbing the rails when the balls are going in, and I haven't seen anything touch the rail yet. So.
He has hit everything dead on the money for that first track. Zhu never got out of his chair. It was Johnny Archer all the way in this race to 8. It's the American that's opened up very impressively. What's going on elsewhere? Wins for Lee Van Corteza and Lee Kun-Fang against Alex Pagulayan. The line is out. Iga Takahashi got through against Jeff DeLuna. Chang Pei-Wei came from behind the former world finalist to beat Ibrahim Bin Amir. Pat Holtz does it again. The Scotsman in the kilt, 3 for 3 in this tournament this year. And Tony Drago in a meaningless match picked up the win, having already been eliminated. So up steps Zhu from China. Let's see what he can come up with on his break.
I broke the balls real nice. No, I wouldn't say Tony's match was totally meaningless. The winner of that match got $1,000 US, and the loser got a nice handshake. And that was about it.
That's a very good point, Jeremy. Yeah, anytime $1,000 is meaningless.
And neither one of those guys had won a match in the tournament. Had a couple of tough losses apiece. So, you know, besides the money, just, you know, to travel all this way and not win a match can be a little, you can carry that home on the plane a lot worse than that $1,000.
Well, Archer's had the handcuffs put on him here by Zhu.
Yeah, Zhu's made a really nice shot here. Johnny's got a difficult kick. He's pretty shallow on the 6, going behind the 6 and trying to make it come off the side rail and get the deuce. Have you enjoyed your stay here so far?
Isn't it a wonderful country?
Yeah, it's
They're such
nice.
a welcoming and friendly people, and boy, are they pool obsessed.
Oh yeah, they love it.
I mean, you know, where I come from and where you come from, Jeremy, you know, pool has its place, but here, if you're a pool champion, you are a superstar.
Oh, absolutely. Johnny's going to have to hit this with low left English to make the cue ball bend a little bit. He's going to hit it with like a medium speed to make the draw take. He's hit this perfect. Wow.
Oh, and look at where he's nailed that ball as well. So now it's Zhu's turn to be in trouble, and Zhu came in as a big underdog in this group. We've seen 1 or 2 underdogs have some teeth in this tournament. Zhu, unfortunately for him, hasn't been one of them, but a relative newcomer to the scene, played on the San Miguel Asian Tour this year, and even if he comes out of here without a win, as looks likely, this has been a valuable experience for him, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and we see many countries come along just because of this tournament. This tournament, we'll look at Pat Holtz. He played in the tournament 3 years ago was his first tournament, and now he's cruised through his bracket. And you could say 3 years ago there was probably no chance of him doing that. You know, he's really improved his game, and it's kind of like getting your feet wet. That's what we call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have to take a bath, well, so be it, as long as you can learn from it.
That's right. It comes off. Johnny's gonna, I believe he's gonna play a 4 on the side. He's just gonna float the cue ball out while he's running to the 6. This is a nice shot. Johnny plays the game a lot more simple now than he used to.
Does he still have his habit of removing the balls from the pocket of that he's aiming at?
I think you got a better chance of seeing that in the elimination rounds than right now. I think if he had to win this match, maybe you might see that a little bit, Nick. But
he absolutely insists that there is some glare from the TV lights, but it's a glare that nobody else notices. Let's put it that way.
That's funny you brought that up, because we were watching in the room the other day, and I was commenting on another player moving the balls down the rail like that, and I believe it was Jeff DeLuna. We were watching the first day,
yeah.
and Johnny snickered about it, and he says, "I think I do that." I said, "Yeah, you do that, Johnny."
I think we actually refer to it as the Johnny Archer maneuver.
Yeah, that was not as bad as picking the little nap off the felt from 8 feet away.
Yes.
Johnny might go pick out a piece of nap off the table too right now. He's gotten a little thin here. He's got to come with a little bit of a shot. He's either got to spin the cue ball, the top right English, and go 3 rails, or pinch the cue ball back with low left English, zigzagging in 2 rails. I believe he's going to go with top inside. It looks like a more natural shot. But on this dry table, you got to really make sure you don't overcut this ball. Oh, a little thick actually. Pocket was a little generous for Johnny right there.
Yes, it drops. That's all that matters.
That's right. You got that one down, huh, Nick?
No problems there, and no problems here for 2-0.
Oh yeah, and Johnny's breaking next, so. Gee, I know he's winless in the group, but like I said a second ago, he wants to get a win under his belt here. You know what they say, the hardest match to win is the first one and the last one. So.
Yeah, and that first win for G doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon. Elsewhere, Kevin Uzel and Chris Calabrese and England-Australia battle locked at 4 apiece. That's another shootout. Winner takes all, loser goes home. Watch out for Kwopo Cheng, last year's beaten finalist. Ploughing a very quiet path this year. Xiaohui Kai is another danger man. He's in front of Vilmos Foldesh of Hungary. And Luong, 6-4 up against Christian Riemerding of Germany.
Archer to break, beating 2 racks to 0.
Yeah, Kuru is like you never even know he's in the building. He sneaks around. I know he's a small man, but he carries a lot of game. You know, you wouldn't think the guy would go so unnoticed through the tournament. Johnny, that's interesting. He broke and ran out the first game. See, now this is experience. Johnny broke and ran out the first game from the left side, and I guarantee if he was qualified, if he wasn't qualified actually, he would have stayed on the left. But like I said, he wants to get a lot of experience on this table, so he broke from the right to see how the right's breaking compared to the left for future matches on the TV table.
I guess this is experience. We saw another man a couple of matches ago that had already qualified that came up to this table, Wang from Chinese Taipei, very capable player, played in Romanji, didn't seem to be bothered and lost the match, and you kind of thought, that's an opportunity you're wasting here, and Johnny Archer clearly, yes, he's qualified, but he's not wasting his time on this table. Oh, having said that.
Yeah, that was a little unexpected there. That was a pretty easy bowler. Easy pocketing ball there.
Well, they all miss him. That came out of the blue. No pun intended. We weren't expecting that. And it's lined up nicely for G to take it on.
Yeah, he's got a little trouble here though. The 5 is locked up on the 7. I can't tell if there's any air between them, but he's going to masse and try and get the cue ball over on the right side of the table. Nice shot. I guess the 5 might pass the 7 here. But he's still got a lot of work because he doesn't have the proper angle to get all the way back over on the 6. He's probably going to have to elevate the cue and swing the cue ball 2 rails out of the right corner, lower right corner. Come play the 6 in the same hole, in the same pocket.
He's going to be a bit caught out here, I think.
Yeah, he's ended up a little funny here, Nick. Yeah. He's got a double kiss on the bank, it looks like. And I'm not so sure he can cut this ball on the side. He's going to have to play a safety.
Yeah, Just didn't want to have to do that, having done the hard part, but that's a very useful safety shot.
Super touch there. He's judged that perfectly.
Yeah, he's got some game, hasn't he, the man from China?
And it doesn't take much time doing it either.
No.
Well, from what I see on the angle here, Johnny's going to have to. I don't think he can hit past the side and get the cue ball underneath the 6 off the bottom rail like he'd like. He's going to have to hit before the side and really kind of elevate and spin the cue ball to create the angle.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's the danger of that shot.
Well, this rack isn't going into the Johnny Archer DVD of great moments.
No.
We've missed a simple blue, relatively simple blue by his standards. Now we've had a scratch. Now, isn't this just what she wanted?
Yeah, G would be breaking off in the 4th game after he pockets his line.
Very nicely done. Back in the match. 2-1 Archer leads. The man from China will break next. The Whirlpool check. Well, let's see if she can level this match up.
On the first time, he really broke the ball as well.
He's got a ball. He's got a couple actually. He's got the wing ball and he's got the one into the side.
Perfect on the 2.
Yeah. Well, that's about as good as you can ask for.
Yeah, he's not quite as tall like you were saying. He might need the rest here. He might need the bridge. But if he gets anywhere, he's going to draw the cue ball one rail off the right side rail back out to the middle of the table, which is the majority of the place you play most of your position is the middle of the table playing 9-ball.
This height thing is not a big impediment in 9-ball, is it? I mean, you're one of the taller players. Well, I mean, if you go up against Quo, for example, who's about as small as they come, you know, he compensates for his lack of inches, doesn't he?
Oh, they all have their pros and cons. I mean, the small guys, you know, it's a lot easier for them to get down on the cue and sight the ball. There's advantages. I think the big hands have more advantage than anything than the height of a player.
Yeah.
I like having big hands for steady bridge and elevating over balls and stuff like that. He made a nice shot there. And 2 rails out for a 6. And he just plays pretty simple, just maybe draws cue ball back an inch to give himself the proper angle to get from the 7 to the 8. As you can tell, I don't like the rest. I was playing on TV the other night and shooting the 8 against Tony Drago for the case game, and I just decided to shoot it left-handed instead of. I didn't make a very good shot either. Actually, I made the ball, but I was trying to draw the cue ball back about 4 inches, and I stopped it. It's pretty bad.
Well, he's rushing around the table here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's shooting balls with authority too. Nice shot.
Not the easiest 9 that you could ever leave yourself, so let's see what he makes of this. Should get it.
Yeah, he should do that. 95 out of 100 make that.
Well, nothing wrong with that, was there?
No.
Level pegging, 2 apiece. Archer went a little bit cold. Made a couple of mistakes. I'll just have to sit and watch G go to work.
Yeah, hard to believe this. That shows you how tough the 9-ball competition is. Hard to believe this man had won a match. I know he's only played 2 so far, but Neil's fine. Yeah, Niels is going to be on the sidelines this coming week. I saw him last night in the hotel, and I was awfully surprised when he told me he's not going to make it through.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, Niels is he's one of those guys that play, pool's all about playing real close to your potential every day, and Niels is one of those players that does that. You know, he doesn't have the ups and downs like a lot of players do.
Yes, and it's Peggy Lyon on the sidelines, and somebody from Nick Vandenberg talking about the Netherlands and Gandivalio, the Philippines. They meet tonight. One of those is going home as well.
Yeah, Nick told me that last night that he had to play Gandy today. Oh, that was unfortunate. Well, it looks like he hasn't even pocketed a ball on the break either.
Dry break and a scratch, all in one.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often.
Oh, and it's got a kick, isn't it? A big kick.
Yeah. But he hit a little bit on the left side. That's why the corner ball didn't go in. We call that the Brooklyn side in the U.S.
Right.
And someone asked me last night why you call it the Brooklyn side, and I couldn't really tell them why, but that's why they call it.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Well, I think we got the pace of play got him there. Shouldn't make that kind of mistake with ball in hand. Kind of got down and shot it, two-stroked it.
It's called the Brooklyn side, I believe, Jeremy, because back in the day, when this thing was coined, if you were in Brooklyn, you were on the wrong side.
Oh, okay.
You should have known
There you
that.
go.
Yeah. See, you're learning something about your
right.
geography from a Brit.
That's right. Well, I'm from Texas. My mom's from New York, though. She'd be quite upset in that
Now, Johnny's got a chance to atone for a couple of very sloppy shots a rack or two back.
Yeah, Johnny's going to take his time and make sure he's not making any more mistakes. Because I really believe if you contain your nerves out here, I think you can play several matches in a row without making really hardly any mistakes. Normally the guy who wins the tournament does that. So.
Yep, you minimize the errors.
Right.
You've got every chance.
Well, it kind of went off in his hand there, Nick. He's put himself in a pretty peculiar spot because he can't draw. He can draw the cue ball into the 4, but it's going to hit the lower half of the 4 and could possibly scratch off the 9 position. Making a 2 isn't that tough, but getting from the 3 to the 4 is a big problem. He might even like to play safe here. I don't think so, but he might. Just because there's not a whole lot of future in the shot, or at least foreseen future. Nothing he can predict.
Yeah, as you say, Jeremy, a strange one this. All sorts of options and none of them particularly good.
Yeah, he's going to be playing safe.
Ooh, he didn't want that.
Looks to me like Johnny's stroke is getting a little quick. It's getting a little swift on his backswing.
You hesitate to say this, and you certainly know Johnny as well as anybody, but there does seem to be an element in his game that, yeah, he's qualified, so he's going to just maybe take some chances on the table, experiment a little bit, not really take too much, not be bothered what happens one way or the other.
Yeah, but I wouldn't really think so. I mean, maybe possibly on the break try some things, but you want to go with a victory. Victory, I mean, it's a win's a win. It builds confidence. Next person you have to play, if they look at your record from previous and they see you're undefeated, that might put a little bit of a quiver in their hand. You know what I mean? In their stroke. I mean, it's a number of things. So when we used to all go on the road gambling in the U.S., on road trips and stuff like that. We played a lot of easy games, not from like hustling or anything like that, just because of good fortune, you'd play someone you could beat. And there was something to that, even if it was small money or big money or whatever it was just continuous winning. So when you did get in a tough match, you're used to winning. You did what it took to win, to win the match.
It's a good habit, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Ooh, went for the lot there.
And he got it. Put a small quick 3 on us there.
Oh, you don't see too many of these. Let's have another look at it. He meant it all the way, of course. Right. Well, that's just going to have the taste in Johnny's mouth a little bit sourer. He's dropped 3 in a row here. I can't be happy with how it's going. And he's lost 2 on his own break. Good point. Elsewhere, Kevin Uzel 6, Chris Calabresi 5. That's a winner-take-all back. Very important match. Interesting, Willie's come back from 2 down to take the lead over Kuo. And Luong Chi-dung at the bottom there from Vietnam, 7-6 up. So he's enhancing his chances. Marlon Manalo of Fuche Wei currently progress on table 2. Manalo winning that one in a match that both players are already through.
Has Bustamante played the Prince yet? Do they play later on?
Later on.
That's going to be an interesting match. The Prince, I think, has an opportunity to qualify, right?
He does.
I know he played well in a match last night. I watched quite a bit of it.
You just get the sense with the Crown Prince, don't you? He wants to earn the respect on merit, doesn't he? He doesn't want to come here and everybody say, oh, well, yes, you're the Crown Prince. You know, he wants to earn your respect, and I think he's doing that from what I can tell.
Yeah, he's not here for any other entertainment than playing good 9-hole.
Now then, if he can nail this one and get position, I think he might be chalking another one now in the G ledger.
Yeah, it looks 5's hanging in the pocket, which of course makes it easy to make, but after he pockets the 3 coming out of the pocket, he's got to get position on the 6, good position on the 6 to get to the 8, and after that looks pretty easy. Doesn't look like too much trouble. Oh, he's hit that nice. As far as the Brunswick tables, there's nothing better than the way the pocket hits the ball hits the pocket, the sound. It's like on a number of other kind of tables throughout the year, but I still love the way the Brunswick sounds when you're hitting the center of the pocket. Nice shot.
Well, I have to tell you, Jeremy, if this fella here is the worst player in this group, this must have been a pretty good group.
Yeah, pretty tough group. I suspect, he hasn't won a match, so Sanchez beat him, and man from Taipei.
Huang. Yeah, they both beat him. And beat him fairly comfortably as well.
Yeah.
8-5 for Huang and 8-4 for Sanchez. Okay, so he's not meeting a Johnny Archer that's giving his heart and soul into this match, but as you say, Jeremy doesn't want to lay down and die in this one. Johnny, excuse me, doesn't want to, oh dear, that's a shame. Is he going to get away with it?
Well, we'll see in a second, but he's gotten away with it so far.
That's a shame. That is where his lack of inches hurt him. He was at full stretch there.
And he's shot about 3 shots, or 4 shots real nice with the bridge. I'm surprised he didn't pull out the bridge and shoot that 9-ball. Well, Johnny's, the last 2 or 3 times he's been at the table, he's fumbled. So to come with this shot right here, this probably turn the entire match around and get Johnny back on. This cue ball wasn't on the rail. If it was off 8 or 10 inches, I'd say Johnny would make this on this equipment probably 8 out of 10. And the cue ball being on the rail makes the shot so much more difficult. I still look for him to make it though.
Well, he's cleared all that lint that had accumulated all over the table. But he can see, and the rest of us can't quite spot.
Yeah, that's why he can cut them balls in. He doesn't see that lint on his chin, though, does he?
Glad you said that. Now then.
Nice shot.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Back in the groove, Johnny Archer. That was a super shot. G only has himself to blame. Should have nailed that 9. Don't give the likes of Johnny Archer a second opportunity, because if you do, they'll hurt you. Starting to thicken up here. There's so many alternative attractions around. You've got Marlon Manalo on the next table. You've got a couple of winner-take-all matches going on those outside tables that have dragged some of the fans over there as well. And I think there probably was that expectation that Archer's through, she can't go through, so this one was possibly not one of the top attractions of the night. Let's put it that way, the evening should we say. But we are coming in to see the great man in action, one of the true legends of the game.
Yeah, the Pagalan match just got done right as this match was getting started, so I think all of them went out to have a little coffee break after Pagalan got beat.
And some drowning of sorrows going on. That result will not sit well here in Manila.
No, not at all. Well, Johnny, it looks like he doesn't really have a great shot, but if you can see the 6 is overhanging the top left corner, which makes this bank on the 1 much easier. Makes the pocket a lot bigger. So what I think he's going to do here, he's going to, I think he elevate the cue, bank the 1, cross corner by this 4 and 6, drawing the cue ball into the 5. He could just hit it with a level ball, like a top English, and just come out. But the problem with that is he's not going to hit it that soft to where he has a shot on the 2. The cue ball run up to the middle of the table. Oh, he's hit this horribly.
Yes, indeed. Dear oh dear.
Like a one-pocket shot, to be honest with you. I don't know if you're very versed in that game, maybe.
I'm learning.
Great game. It's pretty popular here in the Philippines, too, now because of Efren's status at the game. You know, he's probably the best player in the world. Well, there is no problem about it. He is the greatest one-pocket player in the world.
It always amazes me. Everybody talks up Efren Reyes, but then you just look at the bios of the players that are here, and under the name favourite other player, it's Efren Reyes, just comes up over and over again, doesn't it, from you guys. He is the pool player's pool player.
Yeah, and really overall, I mean, there's so many great players here. I mean, the professional tournament-wise, I would have to say Earl Strickland has the best stats and is undoubtedly one of the top 3 or 4 greatest players of all time in my books. But we all know how difficult it is to win. We don't have a 40 or 50 week schedule like out of the year like most sports do. So all those players, we look at who really probably plays the game the best. And overall, considering all games, Efren plays all games the best. I don't think anyone will have any question on that. I mean, now when you 9-ball, I think it's a toss-up between about 5 or 6 of them myself.
It's nicely played.
Yeah, he should have probably ran the cue ball down table a little bit just because of the ball coming off the rail. Could go to the end rail, and that way he covers all bases. But he was primarily concentrating on making the ball.
And we're seeing now why he hasn't managed to win a match yet. He's got some elements to his game. He hasn't got enough consistency.
Right. And it's 9-ball is a game that, you know, you can play at a very high level, but you have to take it just like the teacher you first got with told you, 1 ball at a time. And it's another one of them games, if you don't miss, you don't lose your turn.
And that one really came because he didn't get position.
And it looks like a couple of guys, one of them that can't get through and the other one's already qualified, so they're both making some blunders here. This is kind of tricky here. It'd be much easier if he was on the left side of the table with the cue ball. It would be much more natural to come back up table. So he's either got to play this real thin on the left side or real thin on the right side. Oh, nice shot. Well, it's kind of slowed up on him. Johnny's going to have to come with a shot here. He might even elect to play safe. He might place the 5 down here on the back rail by the 9 and the cue ball 1 rail up on top of the 8. Me, myself, I mean, which all of us, we like to shoot.
It's a game that cries out to be aggressive, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, you don't back into matches and wins, do you? You've got to go out there and take them sometimes. But that's another element of the game, isn't it? You've got to know when to hold it.
Sure.
And when to say, no, time to play safe. Be patient.
It's like the pro golfers, you know, they all go on the par 5s. You know, there's not much question on them, man. They're sick when they have to lay up.
Johnny never got a piece of that one.
No.
That was rolling the wrong side of the jaws pretty much from this moment right here. It was just getting away, and never had a chance.
Well, me being Johnny's friend and roommate and countryman and everything else, I'd like to see him slow down, take his time, and get this win. I think it would do well for his confidence in the elimination rounds. Nice shot.
This one should be another one for G.
Now he's falling a little bit on the wrong side. Now he's got a choice. He can either lay over on the same side as the 8 with a little spin, or he can come across the table and play the 9 in the lower right pocket. Nice shot.
Didn't really want to be up against the rail there.
No, but it's amazing how many 9 balls I've seen, which I've shot quite a few off the rail myself, but it seems like everyone's shooting the 9 off the rail.
And safely done.
It still seems like G's got some tools, man.
He has, there's no question. On the hill against Chris Calabrese of Australia. That's the big one. Out on table number 3. The winner is in. The loser is on his way out. Perpocheng back in front. Xiao Kai still 6-2 up on Ilmoj Foldes of Hungary. That's out on table 5. So
8 racks, shoot the break. Leading 4 racks to 3.
Yeah, full 3 and breaking as well. He's got a chance in this match. He's given himself an opportunity, helped by a couple of uncharacteristic little blips from Johnny.
Yeah, if he breaks and runs out here, he'll be the favorite in the match with a 5-3 lead. Johnny would have to break his serve. Johnny would have to get a shot on the break and really quit making the mistakes he's making, and then hope for Zhu to make a mistake on this break.
Well, he's got the wing ball down, but a little cluster up there. The 1 and the 3.
I don't know if that's a line for the corner pocket or not. I guess it is. It looks like he's not wasting much time. He's going to shoot at it. Yeah, he's made it. Nice shot.
Very nice shot. And look at the position on the 1 ball.
He's got some problems with the 2 though.
Yes, there's a nasty little cluster down the bottom of the table here, but he's played that very well. And as you say, Jeremy, you knew it was on because he wasted no time in it. But there's that little triangle down by the 9 ball there. That's the headache in this rack.
Yeah, I foresee him shooting a 2-9 combination. He's going to draw this. Oh, he's going to try and break the balls out. Oh, he's put himself in a little bit of a trap.
Dear, yes.
Well, if he can't see this 2 ball, I predict that Johnny's going to be getting ball in hand. If he doesn't have the edge of this 2, I can't tell. Well, it looks like he might have an edge of it, but the way the balls were aligned, the 4 was in the way for a 1-rail kick off the side rail, and the long rail kick was a pretty low percentage. He's
stuck its nose out.
Wow. So we say in America, he's shooting at his hole. There's not much safety in mine.
No. He's a gunslinger.
That's right.
The trouble is when you're a gunslinger, one day you get shot down.
Right. Kind of like them 1 out of 100 chance things. Not much chance of it happening, but when that one happens, you're not coming back from it.
Yes, we can admire his boldness, but it was a long shot. It hasn't come off, and it gives Johnny Archer a chance at cleaning the rack up.
And again, that's an obvious situation to where if he was playing this match to qualify Zhu, I think he would have possibly looked at playing a safety there or something, even if he could let Johnny see the ball, at least leave it where Johnny's not going to be clearing the table without him getting back to the table. Johnny just made a nice shot on the 6 on the side. And he's going to come one rail over before the side and play the 8 in the lower left corner pocket. Nice shot. Looks like we're going to be level at 4 apiece here with Johnny breaking in the 9th game. Oh, that kind of was odd.
Yeah, there we go. Well, G really went for it on that blue. That was not the shot to take against Johnny Archer. It opened the table up, and the rest was history.
Let's bring it back to your commentators now, Meng and Jeremy Jones.
And before we get back to our match, let's just check out what's happened here on day 4. Wins for Rodolfo Luat. Ricky Yang of Indonesia, he's through as well to the last 64. Vincent Fakay's won all his matches. Roberto Gomez defeated Corey Jewell. They were both through. Tan Tiong Boon of Singapore with a win. Patrick Ui knocked down Evangelos Vetas. That was significant because it led in Imran Marjid, who managed to prevail, winning 8-6 against Wang. Mika Immonen is a winner, but he still doesn't know if he's through. He could still get kicked out. Oliver Orban was on a hill battle of survival. He just about made it. John wins. The Irishman gets a win, as does Konstantin Stepanov. And Liu Cheng Chuan of Chinese Taipei beat the fella sitting next to me right now. Sorry about that one, Jeremy. Lee Van Corteza and Lee Kun Fang winners today. Takahashi gets a win that doesn't mean anything for him, but Jeff DeLuna is safely through. Chang came from behind, the former world finalist. Pat Holtz 3 for 3 this year, looking good. Tony Drago getting a consolation victory as well. It's been a busy old day, and there's more to come.
Right rack, Archer to break with 4 racks each.
So we're down to a race to 4.
And John, like I said before, Johnny's in his first 2 matches, he had two really tight matches where he made some mistakes at the beginning and was fortunate enough to go through and win them. And now he's in another tight match with a fellow that hasn't won a match in this group. I mean, he needs to go ahead and put a few racks together here, the last day of qualification, to boost his confidence for the rest of the week. Because there's nothing wrong with his break. His break is fine, but he's made a few mistakes in the playing of the wing ball.
Well, the wing ball went down fast. He's going to have to modify his cueing action here, but at least he can get a clean look at that one ball. That 8 has hampered the cueing.
Man, I really don't see a whole lot since he is elevated over the 8. I mean, if the 8 wasn't there would be a number of options. But since the 8's there, it really eliminates half the cue ball. You cannot hit the lower half of the cue ball. So looks like to me he's going to try and pocket this ball. Oh no, he's playing safe. Nice shot.
He has distance. Does he have a snooker? Is that going to just? Is that going to be a channel there for?
Yeah, he can see that.
He can.
Can't really do anything offensively. Not anything that wouldn't be haphazard.
But this fellow likes to roll the dice.
Yeah, he sure does. He can go to one of those Filipino casinos.
This time
this isn't going to show up too well for him. This isn't going to be too good for our man from China.
Maybe that's why he does like to gunsling a bit, because his safety game perhaps not the best.
Oh, you can tell he's definitely still in the process of learning the game of 9-ball. Which, these days, honestly, Nick, it takes a lot longer to learn the game of 9-ball because of the conditions that we play under. Meaning the corner ball going in on the break. Anytime you have less balls on the table, it becomes more of just a run-out game rather than respecting the game like I learned how to play. I learned how to play where it was very difficult to make a ball on the break, very difficult to end up with a shot all the time. You had to hit balls, play safeties, sometimes leave you a shot that's not a very high percentage one to go for. It's a bit of a different game now. I personally think we should go to 10-ball, but I think at the level, the talent in the world now and the cue ball, I think you would see a lot more of what the game's about. You might not see 5 or 6 racks run every day, but
I'd want to see how you'd rack 10 balls. That's another matter.
Well, you know how 8 balls rack.
Yep.
You just take the 5,
yeah.
and then the 10's in the middle, and the rules are the exact same as 9 ball. But that's a humongous difference on the better play of the game. I've never seen anybody fluke into a win in a 10-ball tournament.
Right.
So, and not really a 9-ball tournament too much. They obviously played good pool, but not as good as 10 ball. It's hard to explain, I guess.
Well, our viewers on ESPN will be leaving us shortly for sport. Our coverage continues in Manila. Johnny Archer, 4 apiece. 2 balls left to get his nose in front once again. And every American in any sport that I've ever met, I've never met one that says he's happy to lose or let one go. There is that competitive edge that somewhere will have kicked in with Johnny while he sat there and says, you beat that guy. I don't want him getting a win over me.
Right. Well, when you talk about your career and titles, money earned, your way of life, living, everything else, in our sport, it comes down to wins and losses. So.
Johnny won that rack. Back in front, 5-4 in this race to 8. Well, at least Johnny's getting what he wanted here. A good look at this TV table, and this fella is getting priceless experience that I'm sure will stand him in good stead. Is safely through to the last 64. The chancer from the West Midlands has edged Chris Calabrese. Andreas Roszkowski has demolished the man from Chile. Carvajal, yeah, a good winner today. Watch out for him, he could be dangerous. And Luong Chidung has wrapped up Group 28. 3 wins out of 3 for the man from Vietnam. The days when you looked and said, oh, I've got an opponent from Vietnam, I don't even need to show up, they're long gone.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier, just like this young man from China. You know, give these guys from China a few years, and you know, these guys, they dedicate themselves, they practice, they watch what's going on around the rest of the world. And you can tell because, you know, like we came out with phenolic tips for the jump cues and the break cues not long ago. Just shortly after that, I mean, just not even weeks or months after that, after the key makers in the U.S. came out with it, and everyone in the world's got the same equipment. So they're paying attention to what's going on in the game, along with how the game's played. You know, the equipment's just a small example.
Yeah. And they're studying the likes of you and Johnny and the Chinese Taipei guys and the Filipinos and saying, well, I want to learn from the best.
Yeah, well, you never know when that shot's going to come up, you know, so. It's just like any other sport, you know, every sport has a round object in it. Every, you know, team sport, now track doesn't or anything like that besides a round track, but football has a round object, soccer has a round object, hockey, pool, baseball, tennis, everything has a round sphere of some sort because it bounces funny, it rolls funny, it does funny things. And it's one of them games they're all easy to improve at, but it takes a lifetime to master them. The only way you can do that is watch other great players.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Oh, nice shot there.
Oh, has he flipped the line with it as well? It was a nice shot. It was another one of those gunslinger shots.
Absolutely.
That other players would have thought twice about. Oh, is he almost
a Mike Massey trick shot.
Yeah.
There's Zhu, he just bounces right back. After making a couple of mistakes to let Johnny regain the lead, he's got a pretty simple 4 balls, as long as he doesn't do anything funny like get long straight in on the 8 in some kind of way. If he stays, gets the cue ball back out where it's at now, he should be okay.
Just to illustrate what you were saying earlier, Jeremy, I mean, I get the feeling that this fella's not hanging his head because he's losing. He's always coming as if to say, well, you know, if I lose, I lose, but I'm taking a lot out of this.
Sure.
Oh, again. He seemed to rush that.
Did we do that to him?
Yeah, maybe we did. And if there's one thing he's going to take out of this match, it's you've got to be a lot more consistent and keep a greater degree of focus, because that should never have happened.
Well, there's a difference between aiming and taking dead aim. You know what I mean? And here is where every ball counts. And we can, oh, there we go. There's the glare we were talking about.
There we go, yeah.
Every ball counts because every game counts. There's going to be, 2 or 3 guys.
Oh, good grief. Well, there's no way around this. I know he's your buddy and everything, Jeremy. He shouldn't be missing that.
No. I'm shocked, to be honest with you.
That's a slap in the face for Johnny Archer, a self-inflicted slap. How on earth did G win that rack? 5-all. That's as bad a miss on the 9-ball as we've seen. That was right up there with the Efren Reyes miss against Tony Crosby. Yeah, it was lights out right there. Should have been game over. Goodness me. A little shake of the head.
As I was saying, there's going to be 2 or 3 guys in this qualification round that's going to be eliminated by a game, and that results from a single ball being missed. Not 2 or 3 during a set, just a single ball that one game that eliminates you from the event.
Yeah.
So you really. The guys who, everybody's going to get nervous, everybody's going to make some mistakes. The guys who minimize the mistakes and take advantage of their opportunities, no matter if they've won this title before, won other titles, haven't won a title, they're the ones that are going to go the furthest in this tournament. Because once you get to the final 64, it's obvious you have the tools to win matches. We're not playing races to 5 this year where you can really fluke a win.
Yeah.
We're playing races to 8, alternate the break. You can't just have your man make 1 or 2 mistakes and you win a match. You have to string along things together.
That's a very good point. I was just trying to work the angle out there, see if we can get enough of it.
Well, from the TV screen, I would have to say he's got a shot, but even if he doesn't, he's going to elevate the cue and jump this ball. He's not going to get his jump cue here because it's just barely an edge of the 5 that he'd have to go over.
Very nicely played.
Yeah, he's come around almost perfect on the 2. And it looks like where the 4's at, he's just going to hold this with a little pinch draw. I don't think he'll really move the cue ball down to the end of the table. I think he'll just hold. Oh, he is. This is kind of surprising. I didn't think he would be moving the cue ball down to the end rail here. Nice shot. Johnny looks like he's laboring a little bit out here, Nick.
Well, that 9-ball is evidence of that, isn't it, Jeremy? It's just, he has no business missing a shot like that. And when you see a miss like that, it's interesting to see how a player responds. Some will drop their heads and start to feel sorry for themselves. Others will just say, I'm better than that, and I better get my game together. And it just looks like Johnny's thinking to himself,
see, he's just mishitting the ball. So
yeah,
that's why I say he's concerned about every stroke he's making instead of just trusting his aim and trusting his stroke. Like right there, that was inexcusable, to be honest with you. There's no reason really for him to have gotten over on the rail and really on the 50-yard line on this 4. He really has no way to get on the 5 now. He's gotten so thin on the 4, the cue ball is going to run one rail up in between the 7 and 9 and not have any position on the 5.
you have to say, on this evidence, if somebody was new to this sport watching him for the first time, they would not be saying Johnny Archer is one of the world's great players and a genuine favourite for this title.
Right. No, they wouldn't.
We're not seeing that Johnny Archer tonight.
No, they would say that him and Jew play in the same pool room. I mean, I hate to say it, me and Johnny, we crack on each other a lot, about mistakes we make, and but this is serious time here. This is the World Pool Championships. There's only 2 or 3 tournaments a year that really are the equivalent of this. What a shot! Even if he doesn't draw position, I like the way he shot the ball. Shot it with conviction. Well, it looks like he might have a cross-corner bank here, Nick. I don't think he's snookered. I think he might be able to bank this ball cross-corner.
That would be a bold move.
Very possible, though.
I guess this must be where the mental part of the game is so hard as G looks on. Because as much as Johnny Archer, much like yourself, will have gone into that last match saying, let's go out and be a professional, let's go out and do a job, to know that you're already safe and home free, it must take a little bit of edge off your game, even if you don't realise it.
Sure. And during my match, last night there was a match going on even after I had 2 wins, to where if a certain person had beaten another person, well, then there was a chance that if I had gotten beat today, like, that if I had gotten beat like 8-1 or 8-2 or 8-3 or something, there's a possibility I couldn't have gone on. Now, after that match ended up with the results that favored me to where I was already through going into my match today, it didn't really matter, but you start out just trying to win the match, and then after in my match today, it was pretty unfortunate. It was kind of a one-sided match, and my opponent outplayed me on top of that. So I credit it to, I'm glad that didn't happen whenever I needed the match.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't just say that after. I was telling myself that during the match too. Don't let it get you too upset. You get a few bad rolls here. I mean, it could have been at a worse time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That bank shot might kick-start Johnny here. It really was a sizzler.
Oh yeah, he warped it in. Certainly didn't let it roll off.
Don't go missing any more 9 balls on us, Johnny, thank you. There we go. It's been hard work, this. Pushing water uphill for Johnny Archer, but he is getting close to that hill now. 2 more for the match.
It's cold. Well, I know how he feels. Look, we import state-of-the-art electronics, and getting our latest products out quickly to customers is a real headache. If it's late, it's out of date. You're living in the past. Watch.
Back to your commentary team of Mick Holling and Jeremy Jones.
5 drafts.
We're near the winning post in this match that has been a lot closer than many of us had expected. This fellow has had some opportunities to claim a notable scalp. Still has that chance, it has to be said, but
Yeah, a la tennis, they're on serve here at 6-5. So.
Where's that cue ball going?
Yeah, the cue ball's gotten in one of the only spots on the table he wouldn't have a shot on the one.
You can see it.
Well, the 4's down here, though. I mean, he could possibly cut this ball up in the corner. I mean, it's a pretty makeable shot. And the 4 being on that half of the table, it lands to where he's going to have position. But he's going to contain the cue ball behind the 4 and 6. Oh, he's snookered Johnny pretty well here.
He has, hasn't he? That's 1 ball surrounded by other balls.
Yeah, Johnny's going to go off the right side rail. He's going to go by the 4 off the right side rail with a little bit of English going into the 1 and trying to crash into the 9 or hopefully get a snooker in some type of way. He's looking at a 2-rail kick. He's looking at wrapping the corner down here in the lower right hand and coming in between the 7 and 5 back up towards the 1. which is an easier kick to judge because you kind of just make a parallelogram coming out. It's easier to visualize the two lines on the table. This kick shot is much tougher. But if Lady Luck's on your side, you might make them deposit the 9 in the lower left-hand corner.
That would bring the house down.
Yeah, it's a much tougher kick to hit hard, though, this kick. This kick you want to hit with like a medium speed is the best way to judge it. Nice shot.
Shot.
Where's that going? He's safety.
It's amazing. You have all that surf on the table, and that white ball seems to get in the most peculiar places.
You heard Johnny just say that. It's the same shot. That's more or less exactly.
Yeah.
Just a sort of mirror image of the other one. And guess what? Johnny's going to have to do some more work.
Yeah. Johnny's going to, I believe, if he can get in between the 5-8, he's going to swerve the cue ball in between the 5-8 and hit the upper left-hand rail, kicking the one ball. He could jump at the one, but it's a pretty low percentage shot. Because he only has the right edge of the one, you can see.
Yeah, that would be a tough ask. Yeah, so Archer's going to be looking at this rack and thinking to himself, I don't really want to let this fella get on here, ball in hand. That really would be a mistake.
Oh, Johnny doesn't want to lose this match. He doesn't want to hear it back at the hotel.
He will, won't he?
Yeah, he certainly will.
You lost to a guy ranked outside the world's top 500, Johnny? No, he doesn't need that.
Yeah, he's going to have to swerve the cue ball a little bit in between the 5-8, hitting the left side rail, trying to get behind it, actually. It's not bad, though. He's left a shot, but he's left a shot with some distance. And you notice that Zhu has to bring the cue ball back for the 4 on the other end of the table with the cue ball, next to the cue ball. The 4 is next to the cue ball. Difficult shot here.
I just saw in the crowd a few moments ago the fellow in the glasses, Li Heiwen of China, who beat Alex Pagulainen last night to qualify out of Group 4. So some of these Chinese players are, as you said, Jeremy, they're picking it up pretty fast. Li, there he is with the glasses. Li absolutely demolished Alex Pagulainen, and you can make any excuse you like for Alex. Li just went out and took him to the cleaners.
He's got the rest out here. I believe he's just going to coast the cue ball 1 rail up for position for the 5 in the lower left-hand corner. The emphasis here is just pocketing this 4. He's come 2 rails. Nice shot. A little dangerous, though.
Yes.
He should develop a little hoop on the side of his pants for that.
Yes, I was going to say, he may as well bring it out and play it more times than not. Oh, that would get some platform heels or something.
Well, also, here in Asia, I mean, we have quite a bit of televised pool in the U.S., but not near as much live pool and not as near as many different events televised. You know, here they have quite a few different events televised all the time, so you can see a variety of players, how they play. A lot of times in the U.S., they show a lot of the same coverage over and over and over. You know, so you watch it once, why are you going to watch it again? You know?
Yeah, sure.
So these guys are getting all the information that they need to learn how to play great 9-ball in a lot shorter time span. You know?
And that San Miguel Asian tour that they developed a few years ago, that's really helped just get these guys exposed to the Chinese Taipei players and the Filipino players. Suddenly you literally are on the same table with some of these people, and there's nothing better to learn than at close quarters. I've seen it myself the last 3 years. You know, you're seeing players from such nations as Indonesia and Vietnam who wouldn't have had a look 4 or 5 years ago they're turning out some pretty decent players. China will not be far behind them.
No, it's you know, it's not, nine ball isn't in the blood. It's not a U.S. It's not in the U.S. blood. It's not in the Filipino blood. It's, you know, it's all about dedication. Being fortunate enough to be around players that have the knowledge, that are willing to help you, and having the opportunity to apply that knowledge and play. You know, so with the San Miguel Tour and all the tournaments they have here in Asia, if you're willing to do it, you can certainly improve your game as much as you want, and be under a lot of duress doing it, which develops your game. I mean, the heat makes you the player you are.
Well, the heat's on here, isn't it? 6 apiece. Both men need 2.
Seems like the heat's always on in the Philippines.
Let's check out some of the scores elsewhere. Torsten Homer, boy, hasn't he looked good. He started off well again. Wu Cha-Ching, the defending champion, looks okay too. Early going elsewhere. Eduardo Villanueva down on the bottom there. 4-2 up against Absi Chanyago of Indonesia. And Tolian Han of Singapore. 3-0 up against Janae Nicholas from South Africa. A few of those gentlemen playing their last match of the World Championship, but hopefully they've all had an enjoyable, enriching experience.
Yeah, the venue's been nice, the setup's been nice. And I love coming to an English-speaking country, I'm not going to lie. I mean, because that's one of the things about coming here, get to enjoy some of the people. We've been out and about in the restaurants, me, Johnny, and Rob Sayers the last few days, and the people have been great. You know, and to be able to communicate with them, I mean, I don't have the time to learn, you know, Mandarin or Japanese or even the Filipino language, so they're going to have to bear with me and speak English to me. So.
Well, that's true for all us English speakers. We really are the worst when it comes to learning somebody else's language. But, as you say, Jeremy, it's been a very warm welcome for all of us from around the world here in the Philippines. It's a pleasurable experience being here.
Well, Johnny's played a simple safety. We definitely all know that Zhu is going to hit this 2-ball on a kick, but Johnny's just made it to where he's going to take his chances that the pull guards are with him after this shot, and that Zhu is going to leave him with something that's better to shoot at. Oh, he's hit about it perfect. Oh,
that's unfortunate.
A little bit of an unfortunate kiss.
Once again, as we're always saying, any time there's contact with another ball, usually it's bad.
Right. Well, he's left Johnny what I would call a medium tough shot. He's going to pocket this in the upper left-hand corner just with a little bit of low right English, drawing over to the side rail for the 3 on the side. Position isn't any problem. It's just making the ball. And this is all about concentration and confidence. These are the kinds of shots that, even if Johnny loses this match, these are the kind of shots that he wants to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are the ones that carry him into the next rounds. You get to making these with ease, you're not going to miss many balls. That's why he's taking his time on it, you know, and he's bearing down. Because when it comes to the pressure and the tough shot, there isn't too many other guys I'd rather have shooting it than Johnny, if any at all.
He's one of the game's craftsmen, isn't he? Just really works it all out. How does he do there?
He's fine. I think the 3 passes the 7 in the corner. It may not, but I think it does. I can't tell. Yes, it does.
That was slide by.
Yeah. And this is another one that you got to pay attention. He doesn't have a full pocket. It's like he's got to play it a little bit into the cushion, which means he's going to shoot it a little softer than he normally would.
If nothing else, it's good target practice for Johnny this rack, isn't it? It's sure not easy.
And 9-ball's all about keeping your turn at the table and pocketing the balls that you shoot at, you know, executing the safeties and just making the ones that you shoot at. He's going to hit this with a little bit below center, kind of a soft draw shot. Just like that. Nice. Couldn't play it better. See, that was just habit, because I guarantee you there was no glare. He's going to be standing, his head's going to be 4 feet away from that corner pocket. So if he's got glare there, he's got more eyes than I was built with.
I guess it's one of those things that if you feel uncomfortable, even if it's totally irrational, you've got to deal with it.
Yeah, well, like I told you before, if it was the elimination rounds when the nerves were going, he'd be moving those balls out of the pocket. Just like now, it's 6-6. You know, it doesn't mean a whole lot. The match doesn't, but he wants to win the match, so. He's falling about perfect here. He's going to just draw the cue ball back maybe 3 or 4 inches to get the correct angle on the 8 and the side. And for all those players out there, it's one thing, Johnny hasn't played his best match here today, but that's one thing you can learn from Johnny. He's really simplified his game of 9-ball. You don't want to move the cue ball. You move the cue ball as least as possible.
Yeah.
That's how the game's best played.
It's one of the things I like about watching Yang's game, for example. That cue ball, it just does exactly what he wants it to do.
Yeah, I watched last night. I think he was playing on TV, and he looks in good form. He always looks in good form. It's funny, the years he's got knocked out of this tournament and the matches he's been eliminated with, it seems like funny things have happened to him, you know. Which he did make a few mistakes here and there. I'm sure he'll admit it himself, but still some peculiar rolls of the balls knocked him out of this event. Because I personally think he's the best Taiwanese player. Hands down, too.
Johnny Archer stakes a spot on the hill first, but is he going to be joined there by Meng, or is he going to seal the deal next time up? Here's the scores elsewhere in progress at the moment. Torsten Homan isn't missing a beat, is he? Wu Shao-Ching is in control too. Some big names in action. Homan definitely along with Thomas Enger, very quietly going about their business here.
I watched Thorsten the other night. He looked solid. He made it. Every tough shot he had to shoot at, he made it. Well, this is an interesting thing here for Zhu. I mean, he's in a close one here. I'm sure he's interested to see how well he performs from it. You know?
Well, he's got to have this rack and then beat the serve, as it were, because it will be break off for Johnny Archer if it goes hill-hill.
It's interesting. He's broken the ball several times in this match and had a pretty difficult shot, a shot he could go for or elect to play safe. Just about every time except for once he's shot at the ball. So I expect he'll bank at this and try and run the cue ball down like so. He tried to run into the 9 to get position on the 3. Made a nice shot. He just didn't quite have the right angle on the cue ball to run into the 9. He's kind of trapped himself here. He might have to play for Lady Luck, because I think he can only see about half the 3. Wow.
Yeah,
what a shot. That was a great shot.
That was as good as you could do it.
Yeah, he made the cue ball really bright with the English. Very difficult to do on the dry table out there with the lights. He's put Johnny in a tough situation here. I don't know if Johnny even has a natural kick shot. I think he might have to go to the right side rail with low left English, like a soft draw, making the cue ball warp 1 rail. Possibly 2 behind the 3, but if he goes 2 rails behind the 3, he could scratch off from the top left-hand corner pocket.
Johnny seems to have been jammed up like this every other frame.
Yeah.
Every other rack, doesn't it? It's been...
Yeah, they haven't. They've been kind of peculiar kick shots too. I don't really see any natural way to kick at the ball. He's going to have to draw the cue ball. It's kind of like a trick shot. Oh, he's looking at Mass saying this. I don't like that. Only because last time I saw Johnny really massé the ball like that, this would be an extreme. Massé was probably 5 or 6 years ago. It's not a shot you shoot too often, you know. This is no good because the 5's in the way. If the 5 wasn't in the way, he could go one rail in between the 7-9, hit the left side rail, and hit the 3. But I think he's going to have to go to the right side rail with a lot of low left draw.
Oh, has he made his choice?
He might be massing this ball.
He's certainly chalking up.
Looks like what he's going to do. He's going to massay it. Yeah, he's pulling his shirt out because he's going to elevate his arm up. He's going to elevate this way up in the air now.
Oh yeah.
And he can't even hit it that hard to make it take the English.
Wow.
Not the exact route he wanted to go, Nick. He wanted to actually just throw it directly into the ball rather than going to the left side rail.
But sometimes you have to make your own. Like, look at that.
Yeah, he really made it take. He's usually pretty short on this four ball.
Yeah.
This isn't a throw-in. I think he's going to run the cue ball 3 rails. Oh no, he's chopping it and just going 1 rail. Nice shot.
Looks like we're headed to the hill in this one. Spoke too soon.
As soon as one of us open a trap.
Usually it's Joey Forsyth, I have to say. But that's all on me. Sorry, G. It goes down to that consistency again, doesn't it? You can string 4 or 5 of those shots together out of this match for G and say, this is how you lost it.
Yeah, like I said, it's just there's a difference in aiming and taking dead aim.
So can Johnny say enough of all this?
Yeah, as long as he gets this one down, I think it's over. He'll just roll this in. Nice shot. He's landing perfect on the 6. He'll just draw up to the middle of the table. Now he's putting them in the pocket.
Yeah. I've seen the ball bounce out of a pool pocket before now. These pockets are pretty deep.
Oh, he's kind of got stretched a little bit here. He overhit that a little bit. This is what I mean, like right here, a lot of guys would draw this cue ball out to play the 8 in the same pocket because they want a shorter shot, but the proper way to play it is just stopping your ball and playing the 8 up in the corner. Don't move the cue ball unnecessarily.
Sure.
Well, I'm pretty confident that this is curtains here.
Well, this is your turn to jinx a player.
Yeah, like my friend Rob says about a friend of his when he knew he was going to win the match, he'd always say, I guess it's handshaking time.
Well, I guess this is handshaking time. Indeed it is. Johnny Archer gets through against G. Meng from China. Good experience for the young man from China. Another win for the American Mosconi Cup skipper. And that means he comes out of that group. Will he be joined by Sanchez or Huang? That one remains to be seen. But Johnny Archer is king of the hill in Group 8. Q-Day.
Thank you, Nick. So,